So you should have your 4-line activity on one side and the template over on another. So these actually are not on an artboard. I just have them over to the side in the workspace. And I'm going to need to create several other versions of this template. So the first thing I'm going to do is select the artboard. And here in your properties menu, you should have an option to edit artboards. It might also be here on this side. This is also the artboard tool. So whether it's in your properties or on your toolbar, that's the edit artboard tool. So we're going to use that duplication technique that we use by holding down option, clicking and dragging and duplicating that exact artboard with everything on it. So I'm just holding down option, selecting the artboard, moving over, releasing the mouse, still holding on to option. I'm scrolling down, holding down option. And even though I just need 2 for each one, I created a second, like another artboard, just so I'll have one to work on. So I have some options to choose from. So that's how you duplicate artboards. In your figure ground, in your 4-line activity, you have an area where you have filled in every other one. What I recommend is to take that 4-line activity, make sure your lines go all the way past the box. So just in case you have a box, make sure that your lines go all the way past the box. So I'm holding down shift so I can get a right angle there. I'm gonna move this box for just a second so that I can select these lines, give them an empty fill, and put my box back. So make sure your lines go past the box. You're going to select the lines and the box and open up your Pathfinder window. And select divide. Now that these are divided, you're going to go object, ungroup, and then you can change every other one to have a black fill. So I'm just changing every other one to have, not that one, this one. So every other one has a black fill. So once you have your box selected and you've divided, make sure you object, ungroup. Now you can select these as individual shapes. These will be the shapes that you use to create your figure ground relationships. Now mine are like intentionally very basic. You can make further changes to your shapes. You can create some new shapes. I recommend sticking with the shapes, not trying to create new shapes. Another thing that you can use is some of the techniques that we've already explored before. So we did this with text, but you can also do this using the brush tool. So I'm just making a bunch of marks using the brush tool. I'm going to select all of these brushes, all of these marks, and open up the swatches menu. So we know how to create a custom brush. So what I'm going to do with this set of brushes, I'm going to go object, group, and then I'm going to take it in and make a swatch out of it. This square is 5 by 5 inches. If I select the rectangle tool, single click, I can create a box, and I'm going to type in 5 by 5. Make sure IN is after it. And then I'm going to give it a fill of this texture using the scale tool. I'm going to reduce this by 50% and choose patterns instead of objects. And then Command D to then make that a texture. And I'm going to use that. Maybe rotate it. Double click on rotate. And make sure I unchecked objects and patterns. So then start working with my ground dominant composition. So I just made this little piece. So now I'm pushing through and I'm doing my ground dominant composition. Something you can do is you can also duplicate this first one and repeat the line activity to create the 4-line activity to create your ambiguous. But of course, you can use more lines if you want, because the idea is a push and pull. So I made my lines go past. I'm going to use that same technique of the Pathfinder to divide. And I want to get rid of these extras. There's a couple ways I could do it. I can do object, ungroup, and then select the edges and delete those edges. And then start to fill in every other one. And I can select them together and use the eyedropper tool. So watch, here's the eyedropper tool. When I select those forms and I click eyedropper, it'll sample that same appearance. Eyedropper tool. When I'm finished, I can do object group, and I put all of these back together and I fit it into my square. And I start working on my figure ground ambiguous, right? So you'll do 3 is a good number because then you get an extra, you have some choices of what you put on the slide. So ground dominant, figure dominant is the top one, ground dominant is the second row, and the last row is figure ground ambiguous. When you're done, you're going to file, save, export, file, export, export as. Really important, go to JPEG, select use artboards, all. You'll title it last name, first name, FG. Okay, and then you'll click export.